practice. I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm having a really good day. Last night in our dark moon working, we did a sovereignty and compassion working for the women of Texas and the women of Afghanistan and any other women worldwide who are suffering or struggling due to oppression of their rights. And I woke up this morning to see that the Attorney General of the US had stated that they are going to do everything they can to protect women's rights in Texas, and particularly reproductive freedoms. So I thought that was, a good bit of news to wake up to see that potentially, even if the Supreme Court won't take this on, that other entities in the federal government will take on this draconian new law in Texas. And the other thing that I did this morning is I was reading an article. I started it yesterday and I'm finishing it today. An article from the perspective of a woman in Afghanistan, a rural living woman who experienced not only the difficulty of the Taliban, but also a great deal of loss based on what the United States did during the occupation. And so hearing from her voice in her own words about her experience of what it's been like to basically live under not one but two separate patriarchies, even though it's not a cheerful thing to read, it was very perspective building and very helpful in kind of my understanding of the overall effects that have happened on women in Afghanistan. And I hope to continue to educate myself about this. And also last night, one of the women in our Dark Moon Circle shared that she used to be married to a man from Afghanistan, and she was able to share some further perspective based on her experience. So it was actually a very educational past 24 hours. And I always think that knowing more about what's going on is helpful. So that's my reason for having a good day, feeling grateful for the opportunity to learn, to study, and to know more. Good morning and welcome. It's nice to see you here. Ember, and it looks like Joyce is here and Linda's here. Hi, everybody. Josiah's here. Hello. Hi on YouTube, even though I don't see who it is. I see a couple of you are here. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, one other bit of good news is that I was able to rescue the wick from our Magu candle. The wick yesterday had been buried, and so that wasn't the best for burning this candle, but today the wick is rescued. All right, so in honor of Magu, we are working with the Tao Te Ching, and very excited about that. The Tao Te Ching is by Lao Tzu, and it is a book that has had so much commentary offered about it over the years. I could go, this book itself gives extensive commentary, but even just hearing it, listening to the words, allowing them to rest in our minds and in our bodies is so beneficial. And every day this month, we're doing the first verse as our dedication prayer, and then a verse at random as our divination. Oh, and before I start, I do want to just say, next week, I will try to broadcast as many times as I can, but I'm going to be on the road next week and the week after, so my coverage may be a little bit spotty, but just please know, anyone who's been chanting for a while with me knows I always come back. Even if I go travel and I'm away for a time, I always come back. So I'm not going anywhere until we reach 1 million. no matter how long it takes. So if my coverage, I'm going to be here every day this week, but if my coverage next week is spotty, then I won't be tuning in as often next week or the week after. Then I'll be back. And then just a little note on your calendars. I leave on October the 7th or 8th from here, and then I will not be back until November 3rd. So there will be basically 1 month where I'm not doing practice because I'm going to be traveling abroad, and it's too difficult. When I've noted, I mean, if I can, I'll bring some of my items, and if I can do a pop-up practice, but it won't be on time, it won't be on schedule, and there's no guarantees. So just to note, if you do this practice with me every day, we're going to have a little bit of a break coming up, but then we'll be back November, bright and surly. No, I'm just kidding. Bright and early on either November 3rd, probably on November 4th, because I fly back on the 2nd. And I will probably need 1 day to reset my time clock, inner time clock. And then on the 4th, we'll begin again. So now let's get into today's practice with Magu. A way that can be walked is not the way. A name that can be named is not the name. Tao is both named and nameless. As nameless, it is the origin of all things. As named, it is the mother of all things. A mind free of thought, merged within itself, beholds the essence of Tao. A mind filled with thought, identified with its own perceptions, beholds the mere forms of this world. Tao and this world seem different, but in truth, they are one and the same. The only difference is in what we call them. How deep and mysterious this unity is, how profound, how great. It is the truth beyond the truth, the hidden within the hidden. It is the path to all wonder, the gate to the essence of everything. And let's see, find a good, seems to be the one. Verse 22 today. Surrender brings perfection. The crooked become straight, the empty become full, the worn become new. Have little and gain much. Have much and be confused. So the sage embraces the one and becomes the model for the world. Without showing herself, she shines forth. Without promoting herself, she is distinguished. Without claiming reward, she gains endless merit. Without seeking glory, her glory endures. The sage knows how to follow, so she comes to command. She does not compete, so no one under heaven can compete with her. The ancient saying, surrender brings perfection, is not just empty words. Truly, surrender brings perfection, and perfection brings the whole universe. What a beautiful teaching, and so true. Every word of the Tao Te Ching is so true. It's such a fundamental text. And learning it, studying it, I usually read the whole thing once a year, and I recommend it to everyone. The path of a true spiritual seeker, of someone who can humbly recognize her own flaws, failings, faults, and work on them with diligence and compassion, is a non-competitive path. There's no one to compete with other than yourself. There's nobody whose message is more important than the message that you receive when you are in the quiet, deep, profound connection with your own spirit. There's not any need to compete with others, and certainly it's so interesting. This morning I woke up and I thought how clout chasing, not cloud chasing, clout chasing only leads to a certain kind of disconnection from reality and from the very people that are around you. If what one is chasing is to be a big name, to have a big presence, then it's not always guaranteed that the impact that one will make is going to be received in the way that one intends or wishes. When somebody feels like jealous or desirous of attention that another person has, then what will end up happening is that if they go chasing after it, they may well get it. But what they'll receive ultimately is sort of hollow and empty compared to the bigger picture of what's possible. Each of us has our own direct relationship with spirit. We don't need intermediaries, although we might find benefit in studying with teachers or listening to teachings. But the teacher is not the teaching, and a teaching given by someone else is not the ultimate truth for you. Someone else's teaching can awaken your own capacity to perceive your truth, and that's amazing. And a good teacher will do that without really needing to be showy about it. There's a kind of a teaching that I received when I was at the Gyuto Monastery in Berkeley, California. I think it's in Berkeley, maybe north of Berkeley in Albany. But the monks of the Gyuto Monastery make these amazing, beautiful, elaborate altars, just gorgeous. And I remember being at a teaching in which the lead monk, Thupten Danyo, said, we build these altars. The altar isn't because the deity needs an altar. The altar is because we need to have a beautiful place to make offerings. We don't make offerings because the deity needs offerings. We make offerings because it makes us better people to make offerings. And so too with teachers and teachings. If somebody has something to offer that inspires you, fantastic. You don't need that teacher. What you need is your own inspiration, and that teacher can help you have it. If you are a teacher, you don't need students. You don't need a following. What you need is the space in which to express the lessons as they're arising within you in the hopes of communing with others who might also be inspiring, who might also share like views, or who might benefit from that interaction. All of us are very vulnerable, humble, flawed little beings, every single one of us. And no one is beyond any type of critique or any type of mistake. No one is beyond, beyond imperfection. But the point of the imperfection is that we are, all of us, perfect exactly where we are. And the perfection that we experience in our own process can be of benefit to others. So never worry about whether or not you have a following, an audience, or anything like that. Instead, pay attention to the quality of the interactions you're having with the people around you. Avoid what dishonors your spirit. Connect with what feeds and nourishes you. Be grateful to those who inspire you. That's it. Surrender brings perfection. The minute we let go of yearning, the perfection is right there. What is there actually to yearn for with all this perfection? And I'll tell you, every day when I share these divinations and teachings and my brief commentary, it's me I'm talking to. I hope it helps you. I hope it helps inspire you. You often inspire me. You often share reflections that I find valuable. But at the end of the day, I am teaching myself the Dharma every day. That's what I'm here to do. And I love that we can do that together. That's our short bit for today. No clout chasing. Surrender brings perfection. Have a wonderful, wonderful day if this is what you were here for. And hello from Kirsten and the kitties. Hi. And hello. I see Shananda and Natalie Rose is here. Oh, good. And Aisling says, you can still chant. And what I will do while I'm away is I will still post a verbal post of the verse of the day so that you can still have a little kind of daily dose of inspiration. I just don't think I'll be doing the video practice. All right, now let's dive into Guanyin practice. 3 prostrations. Also, I want to just mention something kind of, I don't know if you'll care, but I think it's kind of funny. Today, I'm wearing a skirt that I've had since I was 12 years old. Now, there was a period of about 6 years where I did not have this skirt. So when I get up, you're gonna have to take a look. I bought this skirt at a Woolworths or a store like a Woolworths in Cooperstown, New York, when I was on family vacation when I was 12 years old. I wore it from when I was 12 until I was about 21, 22. And then I took it to the thrift store and in my hometown. And then years went by. And then one day I was back in my hometown in the thrift store and the skirt was still there. And so I bought it back because I remembered how much I loved it. So now I'm wearing the skirt that went away and came back again. Just thought I'd share because it's like a little funny thing. Now I'm going to get up and show you the skirt. And here it is. Classic hippie skirt. Definitely a keeper. All right, 3 prostrations before the shrine. And let's take refuge. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And let's set our intention, a person, place, situation, or circumstance that will benefit from today's practice. And let's recite the Four Immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. And maybe you can hear we have the workmen are back. The other day, my neighbor went out and put a sign and a little grill and said, hot dogs for hard hats, free. And he cooked hot dogs for all of the workers out there. And all I could think is that in Dunsmuir, that sign means one thing, but if someone put up a sign that said hot dogs for hard hats in the Castro, it might mean something totally different. Rural living. Rural living versus city living. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I light this incense as an offering for Guanxi, she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Omahum. 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 Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Guanyin, remain until the end of samsaric existence, and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. 108 recitations of Namo Guanxi Pusa as we are contemplating the one who just sits in passive but at the same time active compassion, not seeking anyone or anything to fulfill her, just being full in herself. Not full of herself, full in herself. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. Namo Guanxi in Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi in Pusa. Namo Guanxi in Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi in Pusa. Namo Guanxi in Pusa, 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 Namo Guanxi in Pusa. And brief wind horse practice of Tara by Patrul Rinpoche. Lume chuksum chidang jetsunma gyayum pakma drome jintuyi daki sisu palchon yandrak nam yarnu dadang yarji sushindu kepar kache wangtang lungtanam nyampa sushing chetu gyawa long chije lekpe lamdu drawa dang sering nime dedang den shi. Through the blessing and power of the unfailing Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and of Jetsunma, mother of the Buddha's noble Tara, may our lifespan, merit, prosperity, and renown increase like a waxing moon, like a rising summer lake. Especially may our good fortune, Wangtong and Windhorse, be healed when they weaken, rejoined when interrupted, raised up when sinking down. May whatever we do turn out well, and may good health, long life, peace, and happiness be ours. Lume chuksum chidang jetsunma gyayum pakma drome jintuyi daki sisu pelchor nyandrak nam yarnu dadang yarji soshindu kepar kaje wangtang lungtanam nyampa soshing chetu gyawa long chije lekpe lamdu drowa dang sering nime dedang denjur shi. And now 108 recitations of Om Mani Padme Hum, asking for Guanyin to inspire us to send out our blessings into the world, shining like stars, where we're shedding our light in an undifferentiated way, not seeking any attention specifically for it, just giving freely. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 And let's give thanks for our teachers. May all of my blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dejan Yeshiwangmo. Om Sosti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of Supreme Bliss Yeshiwangmo be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May we carry the essence of Guanyin in our hearts. Namo Guanxi in Pusa. And we close with a bow to Guanyin, bow to one another, and a bow to the inner teacher, and wishing everyone a really great day. Be back tomorrow.